recording, and we're going to welcome you once again to the Paul Fanelli Memorial Castle Billiard Lounge here in East Rutherford, New Jersey. This is the 4th annual Paul Fanelli Memorial. I'm Upstate Al. I'm sitting in the booth. I'm flying solo. We got Caroline Powell and Mike Zimny playing for the hot seat match on the AB side of the bracket. Caroline has to give Mike 1 on the wire, going to 7. There you have it. And we're going to swing back over to the stream table as you watch Mike starting to warm up. He says he needs a few minutes to hit balls because he's been sitting in the wings. Scotty B in the chat says Mike needs 3 on the wire. Well, we're yet to see this. And Mike says I have enough practice, and Caroline is going to elect to come up and practice a little bit. And just as she does, she says, no, that's good enough. They're flipping a coin. The coin lands on the table, in the middle of the table. It's tails. So whose break is it? Okay, so they're playing rack your own, which means when you rack your own, the 9 ball does not count on the break. Race to 7, hot seat match. Caroline Powell O'Neill playing Mike Zimny. You know, it's hard to take her name away, Powell, because everybody's used to calling her Caroline Powell, you know, but she is Caroline O'Neill. Like Gail Glazebrook, you know, Gail Glazebrook Robles she likes to use because, you know, everybody's used to it, you know, double G. And in any case, Caroline Powell set the break. Game 1. Smash him. Got a pretty good break. How about that for an opening 1 ball shot? Wow. Mike cut that in from 9 feet away. But you know something? He's in trouble because the 3's on the opposite side. A lot of work to be done here. Caroline might have to elect to go, instead of playing the short side of this 3 and getting on top of it, she might elect to go around the 5, come out long, and shoot the 3 in the same corner she's going to attempt to shoot the 2 in. She is the owner of Mez Q's. I believe it's Caroline Powell, the owner of Mez Q's. No, Mez USA. Mez USA, I'm sorry. Kaz owns. I'm getting information as I'm trying to speak. Okay, I stand corrected. They are the USA distributors. Caroline Powell and Mika Ramonen. They are both the USA distributors for Mez. There you go. I was set straight. And, you know, I forget your name all the time. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jay. And that's a hard name to forget, you know. Anyway, Jay is always around. And I always say hi to him. And I met him, I think, once or twice and got his name. And I forget things, but Jay just filled me in on that Caroline is the USA distributor along with Mika. So that's who you're watching. Now that that's out of the way, back to the 3 ball. Keep in mind, I did put the score up already. Mike gets 1 game on the wire in this race. That 3 ball is going to just sit right there by the side pocket. No, it went far enough. It's not a bad shot if you cut it off. You know, if you cut the angle off, it's not all that bad. But if you left the angle where she can say around it, and, even better. Yeah. Now, why don't you get a headset on, Jay? Let's get Jay in the booth. Now you're real good friends with Caroline, or are you family? Hold on, let me get you wired up. Go ahead, put it on. Put it on. Wait till you get comfortable. Tell me when you're comfortable. Okay, you comfortable? Say something. There he is. Jay, introduce yourself. Friends, family?
Friends.
Friends. Jay is a friend of Caroline Powell's. Caroline Powell O'Neill. I got to correct myself because she is married. Okay, so she, Caroline has to give one up on the wire, but she's at the table right now, and she's got an opportunity to possibly tie it up. Overran the 5 just a bit. Now, I'm not sure if the 5 goes by the 6, and she, with the look of the expression on her face, tells me it doesn't. So you're going to see her turn the cue ball loose, which isn't that bad. If she can back cut this 5 ball into the side pocket, she's going to have to turn the cue ball loose, but just control your speed. Spin it, 2 rails back out for the 6. You're going to come back out towards the middle of the table. Well, you know what? She cut it too thin.
Yes. A little too thin.
Yeah, happens. Well, I'll tell you what, Jay, it's been fun. I mean, it's a big showing, right? I found out 62 players.
Yes.
And it's growing. The Paul Fanelli Memorial is growing. So put it on your calendar, guys. If you want to come out and play, make sure you get in touch with Scott Simonetti or John here at Castles.
Yes, the AB bracket filled up by 11:30, and they turned players away.
They turn players away. Now, you see, that's where I got a little bit mixed up because they turn players away because there's only certain brackets that they can play in, right?
Yes.
Because I understand Victor Now was turned around and Paul Everton was turned down. But with only 62 players, kind of like plays with your mind. In other words, a full field of 64. But for those brackets, they weren't allowed to play in. Talking about brackets, I'm sorry to cut you short. I'm going to leave you here flying solo. See how you like it, right? As I take some pictures of the brackets, because really, I mean, we're getting down there, and I got to forward these pictures out to CMBWSU. So I'll be right back. Fly solo. I'll put the score up before I step out.
Wing ball's been going, so let's see if he can make the 2.
All right, Jay, what I miss? Anything?
No.
Nothing at all. Okay, I just want to bring you up to date. Those brackets have been shipped out to CMB WSU, to Bob himself. And when Bob has a second, or when he gets a minute, hopefully we can get those posted. If not, then I will get them posted myself somewhere down the line. But right now, we're involved in this hot seat match on the AB side. You know, as long as Caroline stays down, stays calm, I like her approach. You know, I like her demeanor. You know, it's the same timing, it's the same approach all the time. She's got the potentials of really becoming a champion, but she's just got to stay down on the shot.
Yeah, she's
Thank you, Bob.
She works with Scott Zimny as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
She's she plays out of here, trains out of here, I guess I should say. She has a table at home.
Yes.
So she comes and works with Scott like once a week, and it's really improved her game.
Yeah, I know she was in here last night before I left. I saw her come in. Look at this, you got a roll too. Okay, so that only goes to show you when you shoot good, you also get good rolls. Okay, Bob, thank you. CMB WSU, I got those brackets off to you. Those are the latest ones. Those are up to date.
Can you see the edge?
And whether he could see paint or not, I'm not sure, but he's going to elect to kick it. He might be able to kick this right in. It's close. He's going to leave Caroline a shot. What was I just talking about? Him? The brackets. Those are the latest ones. And I will get more as the tournament goes on. We're going to be here until the last ball drops. This is a one-day event.
It's actually moving quickly and running pretty smooth.
Yeah, I'm surprised myself, to be honest with you. I mean, I know I get stuck up here in the booth. There are a couple of people that want to commentate, and I'm willing to give them a chance so I can actually take a break. And nothing personal against you, Jay. I think you do a great job, but I just need a break. You know, I've been in here since about 12 o'clock this afternoon or 11 o'clock this afternoon.
So I hear you.
All right, Caroline's forced to kick at this 5, and she kicks the 5 ball in. What a shot. And gets a shot on the 6. All right. I'm not biased. I just like when things happen. Paul Fanelli made a bunch of beautiful cue sticks. Devil Dave was offered $10,000 for his up at the Turning Stone Casino, and he told the guy no, because it was actually the last masterpiece that Paul made. So he elected to keep it.
Caroline used to play with a Fanelli when she was on the women's tour quite a few years ago.
When she was playing with the WPBA?
Yes, she used to play with the Fanelli.
Right. And now, of course, she's playing with a Mez, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But her Fanelli's beautiful. All his cues are just phenomenal.
Yeah. His butterfly work. Look at this. The old double bubble almost in the hole.
Safety.
Look at this. You see what happens? This is a one-way street as far as
Rolls are going right now.
the rolls are. Yeah, yeah. But what's scary is when the tide changes, you know, and the rolls start going the other way.
Yeah, rolls have a way of evening out.
Yeah.
You know, people seem to forget. They only remember the bad rolls, but they don't remember all the good rolls that they were getting in the beginning of the match.
And, of course, Caroline apologized to Mike as she walked back to her seat for getting that roll. You know, players do that. They will wave their hand in a gesture, you know, saying, I'm sorry for getting the roll. But they only mean I'm sorry until they get back to the seat. And then, you know what, you're on your own, kid. You know, hit it or don't hit it. I hope you don't hit it.
Yeah, everyone secretly inside is being like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're a little one-sided over here with the volume. Nobody told me. All right, instead of coming to you in mono, partially stereo, now we're coming to you in stereo. Just noticed one of the volume controls were out of whack. shooting from the second floor over the 9. Not the easiest task, especially being that far in the middle of the table. She's not that small, but she isn't that tall. Hard shot. Now, if she fouls this 9 as she makes a shot, it's an automatic foul. She has to be real careful. Man, she hit that with nerves of steel.
That's tough shooting over.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it just makes it so much harder. Okay, anybody interested in the brackets? The brackets have been posted. Thank you to our senior mod, CMBWSU, for everything you do. He's only been up for the last 15 days straight. He sleeps standing up like Mr. Ed. He's a workhorse, believe me when I tell you. There you have it. It's now 3-0 in favor of Mike Zimny. So the rolls have been going one way, but the score has also been going one way.
It's kind of hard, you know, when you don't play all the time to maintain your focus. And then there's a lot of waiting, especially on the winner's side. You're waiting for the one-loss side to catch up and such, so there's a lot of sitting around.
Absolutely, I got to agree with you.
And, you know, you make the mistake of eating, and all your energy is digesting. And
sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's a good thing. You're hyper, and it calms you down a little bit and puts you back in the mode. But, you know, I agree with you. Waiting is a factor. But you know what? It's been that way for years.
Yeah. But
and that's where I think the training,
yes.
you know, like Thorsten Holman, you know, Mika, they get out there and they train, not saying Caroline's far. She's not even out of shape, trust me when I tell you. But to have that stamina, you know.
But it's more like a mental, having the ability to stay focused for that long and to kind of come to the table and just, you know, see the patterns even, you know. I was drawing a blank in my last match, just couldn't see 3 balls, and I didn't have a clue on how to get from one ball to the next. Just
wouldn't it be nice to can up, you know, and put a lid on it? That focus.
Yes.
And then put it in your pocket anytime you need, just open it up.
Yeah.
Well, there is a guy that does that. There's plenty of them, and Earl Strickland happens to be one of them. You know, he always seems like he's in dead punch. You know, they can focus, and that's what I'm talking about. You know, you get the Mikas and you get the Thorstens, you know, and you get the Oliver Ortmans.
Yeah, that's just a whole nother class, though. You know.
Well, that's, you know, what is it? It's stamina. They work out. You know, they stay in shape.
Yeah.
And from like being a marathon runner, you know, they're in for it for the long run.
And that has changed. A lot more pool players are treating it more like a sport and like
I've noticed
working
that too.
out and a lot of like running, you know, making their body healthy.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have any kind of natural abilities? Like, can you pick up a piano tune and start playing it, or a guitar?
No, I have no natural ability.
Well, you just got one now. I mean, you're here in the booth, and the viewers out there are going nuts. They're loving your commentating. So, you know, sometimes just be yourself, and, you know, that's just the way it is. So that's your natural ability.
Natural ability.
Well, anytime you're around and AZBtv is around, you're definitely welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you.
Because we're getting into the conversation as such, like Mike Fingers and I did at one time, and it was kind of scary. We were commentating on Alaska's match. He was playing a straight pull match, and I forget who he was playing, but we were talking so much about a shot that the match was over, and we were still talking. We didn't even know the match was over. So, you know, when you're sitting in the booth and you get conversations going like this, it definitely helps, you know. It helps the commentators to keep busy. I mean, because we could surmise what Caroline's going to do here. I mean, it's not hard, you know, to guess what she's going to do, take a guess at it. So you got a lot of good input and insight into the game.
Oh, thanks.
And it shows. I mean, you know, the people are listening to you. I'm definitely listening to you as much as I can. You know, I'm kind of weary right now and a little tired, but...
Don't listen to me. I'm a hack. That's why you don't see me say, oh, she's going to do this. I have no clue what to do here.
Well, that's why we're sitting here, right? We didn't miss yet. So she's looking at bumping the 9. She's looking at actually pocketing the 6 in the corner and bumping the 9. I think she can play it with a little left-hand English and go past the 9. But definitely concentrate on making a shot. Just like that. But a little too hard and no pocket. Either you're going to play it hard enough where you can go around the table and come back down, or you try to slow roll as much as you can. So now being down 3-0 and no pocket to fire into. The 9's blocking that corner and the 8 seems like it's blocking this corner. Caroline is really down studying the table right now. I should have got a real good shot of her. But she was down there taking a good look at it.
I think she may play safe here, but I just don't know where the safe is. Maybe try to get the cue ball near the 8 ball and move the 7 to the other side.
You know, it's not all that bad.
Yeah.
It's really not all that bad because the 8 ball is blocking the 7 from going in. So it's not that bad of a shot. What I like doing here is playing the 7 like you're going to cross bank it into the left-hand bottom corner, but play with enough speed that if you miss it, the 7 comes back to the middle of the short rail in the bottom, and you wind up playing it safe. But you got to escape the 8. He's looking to play it behind the 8.
No, I like your shot. It's like a one-pocket shot. And
right.
And you kind of like it, and if you make it, you got a shot on the 8. If not, hopefully.
It's a two-way shot.
Yeah,
You actually, you got a shot on the 8, and then you'll have a shot on the 8 if you do make it. Sort of like that, but
harder. Yeah.
Harder,
you need
yeah.
to hit it a lot harder.
all right. It looks like Miss Caroline Powell O'Neill will get on the board. I'm not pulling a black cat out of my hat. I'm going to wait for another second, and then we're going to give her a point.
And there's a lot of very strong women players in New York. You know, she's definitely, I feel like, one of the better women, along with like Emily and
Jennifer,
sure, Verona.
Sure, that's why I went out on a limb and say
and
she's
so
going to
many.
get a beat on her side, absolutely. So Caroline Powell is now on the board, 3-1. But keep in mind, she did give Mike one game on the wire to open up this set. So keep that in mind.
It's funny, I was talking to Caroline. She seems to be playing better after have taken time away from competing. A lot of things that she was doing when she was competing, like she needed time to absorb. And then, you know, now working with Scott.
Well, it's
just once a
costly
week.
too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to travel, you got your hotel expenses, you got your entry fees.
Yeah, it's
Sorry about that. Caroline breaks them. Yeah, I mean, it's costly for a lot of the girls. And that's what I think the WPBA, in my personal opinion, should do is like what other tournaments are doing. Have like a second tournament, you know, instead of just having one tournament. You know, you can, how many times can the girls go to these tournaments, spend $2,000 to $3,000 on travel and then hotel fees and food, whatever the case may be, not cash, and the top 5 always cash. You got to have some kind of happy medium where you can have a tournament for the people that don't cash, you know, somewhere along, at least 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah, it's right now. It's just tough. I mean, I do think that whatever their business plan is, it's not working. They need to maybe try a different direction.
Well, they need a better spokesperson to get out there and talk to the casinos and make some deals like they used to be done.
Yeah.
Is what they really need.
But I also, it's definitely, even casinos aren't really making that much, you know, I'm not sure.
On the rooms.
Yeah, and it's definitely hard to attract overseas talent. They would have to finish probably one or two to even break even
Or at least
come
top
close.
5,
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the event is almost like a week long as well, and a week long in a hotel is definitely
Costly, yeah.
costly.
Because once you're in the hotel, as we watch Caroline Scratch, once you're in the hotel, now you're at, and if you don't have a rented car, well, now guess what you're going to do? You're going to eat in a hotel,
Yes.
right? You're going to sleep there, and whatever else you're going to do in the hotel, you're going to do right there in the hotel. It's all costly.
I mean, you know, my understanding was, you know, they used to split rooms and they do like girls would double up in rooms. Or,
Can't blame them.
Yeah. Um, but it's just a tough way to make money, and I think, unfortunately, um, you know, I don't know what the answer is. I guess nobody really does. You just need to. Nice shot.
Wow.
That surprised me.
It is surprising to see a combination like that. You know, Caroline's giving Mike one on the wire, and he starts hitting her with those kind of combinations, which he's probably used to playing, though, you know.
Yeah. But even right now, like on the men's side of the pool world, the professional side, it's been a little.
Well, you
tough,
got
it
China,
seems.
you got the Worlds, right, and China coming up, and then after that you got Doha, right, or we're out there in Dubai, right?
Yeah,
But big money, $40,000 purse.
it just seems events in the United States are seeming to slow down a bit. You know,
Yeah.
I used to go to quite a bit of like to the U.S. Open and out to Vegas for.
What do you think about
PCA.
that U.S. Open and the new format that Barry came up with, where it's $1,000 entry now, and a 128-man field?
Um,
Do you think he's going to fill that field?
it's, I it's hard to say. I mean, unfortunately, the payouts have gotten less. If it was a higher payout, then I can see people paying that and traveling over for a shot at the bigger money. But right now, it's what 25, 35 for first.
Something like that, 40, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But now you're going to have 128,000 at $1,000 a player, plus the added money. I don't know what it's going to entail or how much it's going to be for first, but I just don't think you're going to get 128 players at $1,000 a pop.
And that's what I mean. I feel like without a bigger payday, you're not at that entry fee with the expenses players from overseas would incur to travel there.
Right.
It would be a tough draw. You know, you're paying $1,000. You're paying $1,000. You got hotel for a week and your expenses.
Sure.
And you know, to win it, you might make. I don't know what that would be, but
Right, whatever it's going to be, I understand.
you know, if it was a larger payout, I can see. But is he going to go for the combo again?
It's a very good possibility. You know, he's made one already.
Wow.
He is going for the combination once again. I don't know if he can see enough of this 9. Yeah, I guess he can. That didn't work.
I thought this one was easier than the other one he shot.
Yeah, because he
You
was
know?
jacked up by the rail, right? He was kind of
Yeah,
short, fired
and
it
he
in
had-
anyway.
Yeah, you had to jack up, and the 9 was in the middle of the table. This one was a little closer to the pocket. But back to the U.S. Open, I'm interested to see, and I do think it's a tough draw at that entry fee, with the amount of prize money being offered.
Yeah, you know, that's a lot of entry fee.
Yeah, you know, your kind of your risk versus your reward.
Earl Strickland likes it. He likes the format. He said he'd rather play against better players that are going to pay $1,000, or their backers think that that player could, at least have a chance of winning it at $1,000 a pop. You'd rather play better players. I think that just takes pool and puts pool in a perspective to hurt it, because now you don't have a regular John Doe, a regular John Doe that says, "Hey, I want to play in the U.S. Open for 500 and see how I do." So how do we know that this John Doe is not a champion anymore? I mean, how do we know his skill level if he doesn't want to get into the U.S. Open? But it's to each his own. I always wish the U.S. Open the best of luck in Barry, but I don't know. I just don't. I don't think the format's going to work. A lot of people are for it. A lot of people are against it. So half a dozen of one and a dozen of the other.
Well, unfortunately, most other sports that are open, you can't just pay your entry fee and like golf next to Tiger Woods. You know, it's not.
That
And the
was
tennis,
brought up to me. Yes.
you know, and so I feel like while it is true, it's to pay 500 to play like Efren or like some of these other players, it's.
Well,
I can see Earl's point in wanting to play just professional.
now, on the other hand, I know people have paid the 500 just to play in it. This way, they get the pass and they can watch it all the time instead of paying $60 a day or whatever it might be, whatever the fee might be. They say they'd rather pay the 500 and get in it, and they don't have to pay anything else, just to get the player's pass. So it could be a positive thing. This cue ball is leaking. It's got a lot of English on it, and right in the drink it went.
He hit that 8 good though. I mean, he hit it.
Hit it good. The speed was a little rough. And Caroline is now on the board again with 2. So we stand at 4-2, racing to 7.
I mean, if he doesn't get 128, does it lower the payout?
I don't know the
I just
format and the payouts or what they expect. I'm sure we're going to learn more about it.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see. I wish him the best, and I hope it works out. I feel like it's been a great tournament when it was in the convention center. I haven't gone for the last few years, but he's trying to keep it going, and he's doing everything he can. And,
Yeah, he is. But I've seen it go. I've seen it diminish. I've seen it go from being so popular you couldn't get a stand and couldn't. It was elbow to elbow and you couldn't get a seat. To a lot of seats. So by just raising it to 1,000, is that going to bring in your spectators?
Yeah, it's a good question as well. See what the people in chat think, whether they're going to go and watch. I mean, I guess every match would be a good match. You're not going to have any pros versus dead money, so.
Right.
But he's smaller, like less tables, right?
Yeah, it's all going to be held on instead of being split up into all different rooms. He says it's all going to be held on the one roof.
Yeah, I mean that's every match should be a good match. Every match should be someone who's capable. If you're going to pay $1,000, so.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, it might, in terms of a spectator, it might be better because you can only see pretty much like
top
shooters
shooters, yeah.
playing each other. So.
Well, you know what? We wish Barry the best, and we're hoping the U.S. Open's going to be real popular and gain popularity.
So this is a nice little turnout. There's a lot of different tours, and there was a Predator at the Steinway, Billiards and stuff, and to get 62.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure the Predator is always like filled.
Yeah,
so.
and I was surprised to have this many players out here, because usually when you got 2 tournaments going together like this, it'll be like a 50-50 thing, where the players are split up. But this was a beautiful turnout. I hope Tony had. Do you know how many players Tony had in the amateur? And
I haven't seen anything. They usually get a really nice turnout at Steinway. They run a really great tour. To get some really good players as well.
Sure. Well, you know, this was a great day to travel too. It was sunny out, and, you know.
That's the other thing. It's really nice. One of the nicer days out, and everybody's indoors playing pool.
Yeah, well, I need an umbrella when I go home when the sun's out because I'm used to being in shadows, you know. Look at this.
Nice shot.
Somebody was saying that Mike needs 3 on the wire. Well, I got news for you. Mike's shooting like he should be giving Caroline 3 on the wire the way he's firing balls in the hole. He's not even hitting the rail.
Just a natural follow.
And he hit it with good speed.
Yeah, learned his lesson.
Yeah, I guess. Sooner or later you do.
Nice
There
out.
you have it. 5-2. We're only racing to 7. Caroline's sitting there very patiently, awaiting another opportunity as Mike Zimny is going to try to keep her in that seat.
Where's your partner in crime, Devil?
Double Dave is home. He got eliminated. His last opponent was, oh boy, he just played on this table, the very tall gentleman.
Giovanni?
Giovanni.
Yes.
Yeah, Giovanni knocked him out. That was the second loss, so he elected to go home.
The man with the huge hands.
Yeah, everybody says that. The man with the huge hands.
I shook his hand once. Oh my gosh.
It's like grabbing a catcher's mitt, right?
Oh yes, definitely. Speed of this table seems a little different than the other ones. Maybe
what?
it's the balls.
The table?
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you play a different player and they stay at the table, they kind of knock you out of your rhythm. You know, when you're sitting there and your shoulder's getting cold and you're just, you know, waiting for your opportunity. Then when you finally get up there, you're looking at nothing to shoot in. And you try to play it safe like that, and the speed, you know, the muscle memory is just not there because you don't have enough time at the table. So you got no muscle memory of the table you're playing on.
Kind of tricky here. I don't know if she has a pocket for the 1. Does it go by the 6 and 7? It looks like she's looking at cutting in the opposite. What's the next event for you?
You know, that's a good question. I really got to go. My schedule is at home, but I do have some things here. As we watch, I really don't like to let the cat out of the bag too much. Let's see where we're at. Tomorrow we'll be at Steinway for the pro. And then after that, I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you. God knows where I can wind up. I know I got a call to go to Dallas, Houston, Texas, for an event, and I don't know what's happening with that. And
Well, we definitely appreciate the stream.
oh, thank you. Thank you, Jay.
You know, if I wasn't here playing, I'd definitely be home watching.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you come because it gets kind of lonely, you know? I mean, I love all the company. I really like people to sit in. And some people shy away from it. Oh, I don't know. Like yourself, you know, but.
Well, I'm not talking about the match. You know.
But, you know, sometimes it's fun. You know, you get into good conversations. And I always tell everybody, just be yourself. You know, basically be yourself.
Well, I can give you my opinion. I can't tell you what she's going to do here.
You could what?
I can, you know, like give you my opinion on pool and different things, but I can't tell you what the shot is here.
Well, you know basically which way the balls are going to roll and then the way that the players are lining up the shot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's just going to go back and forth and try to shoot the 4 into the side pocket. Now, the problem with this is she's on the rail, so she's going to have to jack up, stab at the 4, and try to get the cue ball to go back for the 5. Difficult. It's asking a lot. A lot of things can happen. Instead, she's going to try to go back and forth, and she got a chance of running into the 9 or the 8 here. She could wind up in trouble. See, she's going to hit the 9 here. Almost, but no shot. If you're going to shoot that shot, you got to shoot it hard enough to get between the 8 and 9. Now she's going to play safe and lock the cue ball up behind the 9 and send the 5 down here, right? I mean, if she doesn't do this, then we got to call the FBI and do an investigation. Now, if she gets aggressive because of the score being lopsided, then it's shame on her. I mean, if she can cut it in and get away with it and come back for the 6 ball in the corner, that's totally her discretion how she feels. That's the shot I like. But get that cue ball close and tucked behind the 9. I think she might have left the, sort of say, a space between the needle's head. That cue ball might fit between the 8 and 9.
I need to wear this headset during my next match, and you can just tell me what to do, and I'll see if I can do
No, don't listen to me, man, because you'll be sitting over here with me. If I was that good, I'd be out there playing.
Making the ball, not a problem.
Right. We're going to hear more of your voice. God, you stay just like that. There we go. There you go. Now we'll hear you, and you'll hear more of it, too. I took my eye off it. I guess he did have a shot at it and brought it down table.
Played it safe. Just kind of split the balls.
Ooh, the mousetrap.
That surprisingly takes a lot of skill to do that shot.
Not easy to do. You got to hit so square.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Wow.
He's playing very strong.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
What'd they do? Slide him in underneath the doorway here?
Came in under the radar.
Yeah.
I don't think she can get by.
No, she's going to have to kick at it. That's the way she's looking at it. And now if she has to kick this way, she has to shoot over the 7. Just missed it. Just missed the hit on the 5. Ball in hand for Michael.
Played a very nice save.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. He was shooting pretty good. You know, he started free stroking there, a couple of racks prior to this, firing balls in the hole. Meanwhile, somebody online said Mike needs 3 games on the wire. And somebody that we know, you and I know, is online said that.
I know too many people, unfortunately.
Well, you know, Scotty B.
Yeah.
Scott Bannon, right?
Yeah.
And Scott says Mike needs 3 on the wire. Meanwhile, it's going the other way around.
It's hitting him nice.
Well, he could be the sleeper cell in the tournament.
It's nice. I heard they raised 1,600, I believe, for the.
1,600, and a real nice story behind that. Instead of the family taking it for the Fanelli family, they donated it to a young girl who needs a heart transplant and donated it towards the bills that they're going to occur.
And it's, you know. Whoa. Kind of really didn't look at that one. He kind of just got down and he didn't really give the shot the respect it deserved, it seemed.
You know, sometimes you tend to get up there and everything looks great. You ever get in a game where you can't miss?
No. I'm liable to miss anything.
That's the first time I heard that. Well, as you get more experience and as you play more, you'll all of a sudden something will snap. Like the focus, we're talking about the focus, right? All of a sudden you're in deep focus all the time and you can't make no mistakes. Everything's working. Well, sometimes when you're an amateur, everything's working, so now you take the next ball for granted. And it might be the easiest shot, and you might one stroke it and miscue or whatever the case may be. So,
you know when that happens a lot? When you kind of make a ball in the wrong pocket and you kind of get lucky and you get that roll. And you just go up there and you just kind of shoot the next shot. Like,
yeah.
That happens a lot.
That happens. Yeah,
you get that, you know.
Or you come with a lucky one or you come with a great jump shot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Caroline's coming with it. She came with a great shot. And there you go.
5-3.
We're on 53rd Street. We're moving up, or 35th, depends on how you want to look at it. But in any case, we are moving uptown. Racing to 7. You're watching the Paul Fanelli Memorial Hot Seat match for the AB side of this tournament.
So here's a question. What do you think about handicapping, like events like this? Do you think it's good for the sport? Do you think it's bad for the sport?
Well, I think it's fair. Whether it be good or bad in personal opinion, I say it's good because you're going to have more players show up. The downfall of that is if somebody shows up, as Caroline takes a break, as somebody shows up that you don't know, we need some kind of verification. You're not just going to come in a tournament. And, hey, we can get a look at Jerry T. Let me see if I can scout him out. There's the little mosquito. He's got the camera. Look at Jerry T working. He's always working. Look, I bet you can't sit still more than a minute. He can't sit still more than a minute. Look at JT. JT's on camera. He's always working. He's taking shots at us, and we're taking shots right back. Always doing something.
Some of the videos he's produced on NYC Grind.
Yeah. He's coming with those videos like once a week, right, or something now. He's coming out with a new one and with the music background. Yeah, he's got them on YouTube and also on NYCGrind.com. Make sure to check out NYCGrind.com. They are co-producing this show. They asked us if they can come on board, and we welcome them with open arms. Excuse me if I get tongue-tied because my tongue is actually tied, but my brain wants to keep going. So my brain's overriding right now.
Well, just back to the handicapping thing. I feel like,
Go ahead.
You're always going to get that. Creates a lot of fights because, as you said, sometimes somebody comes in under the radar, and
other than that, I think it's okay. I ran a handicap tournament in Queens. It was the biggest tournament you can go to. You can win $4,000 to $5,000 every Monday night.
But I also
always 64 players. Sorry, go ahead.
I also feel like sometimes people try to maintain their handicaps as not to be raised because they can, you know.
If it's going to cost them, you got to make it cost them, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got to cost them. There's a lot of traps. You know, there's always things that, look, we got hackers online, right? They're always trying loopholes. So there's loopholes and everything, and it's those type of moves that hurt the game.
When I was younger and there was no handicapping. To get better, you just played better people, and it made people better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, right? So,
Yeah, you're
you know,
right.
you had to play this guy to get to the next guy in the room, to play the next guy in the
Right.
room,
You're
and then
absolutely
to
right.
be the best guy in the room and stuff. But, you know, now that you can cash as a C player or like a D player, um, I just wonder if it creates, you know, mediocre, you know, this like lack of,
Friction, yeah.
yeah, you know, where people don't strive to be the best player they can anymore, you know?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Some people don't want to play in tournaments. You know, there's players out there that refuse to get in a tournament because you know as well as I know, the pool world is the size of a quarter. You know what I mean? You fought over here in New York City, and they know in the Philippines. In other words, you snap something off in New York, well, guess what? 10 minutes later in the Philippines, the word's already out because of the internet, of course.
Yes.
You know, years ago, you can fly under the radar. Well, you know what? There's a lot of players that are electing to fly under the radar that are out there. I ran into players down at SBE, don't even go far. Players that just went down there for the action. They do not want to be recognized. They don't want to play in tournaments. Because as soon as you snap something off, the word is out. And talking to, who was it, Efren? I think we were talking to Efren. Yeah, it was Efren. I can't remember the young man's name, but one of the questions we asked Efren, and it was off camera, it was just normal conversation, was who do we have to look out for that we don't know about in the Philippines? And Efren mentioned some young man's name that's 16 years old. He says this kid's going to be a world champion. And if you can't take Efren's opinion, then you just don't take anybody's when it comes to pool.
Well, I, but like all the players in the Philippines are really good players, and like there's a lot more good players.
Sure.
But I don't think they have handicapping in the Philippines. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
no. You get to Dennis Acolo speed, and nobody wants to touch you anymore. You know what I mean? You reached your cap, so to say.
so I'm
But
wondering,
it's in schools.
yes, I'm wondering if it's hurting like the level of play here in the U.S. or if it's helping. You know, I know that it generates more interest and more players come out to play because everybody has a chance. But
I think it's a way of life.
yeah, it's
You know,
interesting.
we take things for granted. I can guarantee you, I do. Okay,
Yeah,
and
no.
I did growing up because I wouldn't even think twice, and I would go to a pizzeria and order a whole pie for two people, and you know you're not going to finish the whole thing, right?
I'm gonna finish the whole thing.
Well, now you and I, we can go to Patsy's and we can finish a couple of pies. But you know what I mean is we tend to take the dollar for granted.
Yes.
And when you start playing pool for money over in the Philippines, and you start playing for the $10 bills, you know this is money that people sometimes don't make in a week. So you know it's not taken for granted. And they teach it in schools, and it's survival. You know, they're doing it for a living. You know, Steve Meserak once said that to me. He said, "You want to be a good pool player?" He says, "Don't have a girlfriend. Take all the money out of your pocket that you have right now. When you want to eat breakfast, make sure you get on a pool table and beat somebody for it. You want to eat lunch and dinner? Get on the pool table and earn it." He says, "That'll get you better." Well, that's sort of like the same scenario.
Yeah. Is he gonna has room to make it, or is he gonna stick it?
It's a good call. That three-rail safe was a good shot to call. He's not happy with himself because he bumped into the 7 ball.
Yeah, I can't do it. People do it to me all the time, so that's
Well, you
why I
know what?
recognize it. Oh, here it comes. They're gonna stick me behind the ball.
There's no reward here. There's actually no reward here for Caroline. I think if she tries to cut this 3 into the side pocket and the 4 being all the way up there,
She might
just
go
play
for
it
the
safe.
bank and come back around.
There's no reward. She played a smart shot. Well, she tried to duck him. Now she left an open shot, but trying to duck him was a smart shot. Because there's really no reward to try to get back up for that 4 ball. It was a good shot if you were a professional. Yeah, I could see you doing it, but... And that's all right. So, you know, She played the right shot. Mike missed, and now she's got an opportunity.
He's over there recharging. He's eating chicken wings. I don't know if I could do that during a match.
You know something, and I didn't mention it, there is a tournament at Snookers tomorrow. And I do have the flyer for it. Thank you guys in the chat for reminding me. As Jay, you watched that match. Let me see if I can find this flyer that we put together. Oh, man. Do I have it here? I don't know what I do with it. It's not a shame. Gee whiz. I'll look for it.
Nice shot. A little short. Looks like she can cut it inside, go 3 rails.
She hit it real well, huh?
She got a nice angle to just make this 8 and get on the 9.
Well, let's watch Caroline O'Neill, a.k.a. Caroline Powell. Overcut it. She overcut it. Score is 53 in favor of Mike. That one would have made it 54. Now this is a long tester for Mike right here.
Makes it, it puts him on the hill.
I hope I got this right flyer, guys. Sponsor on that tour. As we watch Mike pocket that 9 ball just about scratch. Now reaches the hill. 6-3. Also, just as a reminder, guys, and it's for a good cause, heroeshearts.org.
Yeah, you're just up in Boston at Jillian.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, it's amazing. And then prior to that, I don't know where I was, but I was someplace else. To be honest with you, I was someplace else, right?
You know,
I was in Gotham City. I was with Isabel and Kevin. How could I forget those two?
They say memory's first thing to go.
And it starts from the top down. Yeah. Meaning the brain, right? Down to the feet. But what a great tournament it was out there at Gotham City Billiards. I tell you, if you've never been to that room, you got to step foot in that one.
Yeah.
That's all diamond equipment. Beautiful. No volume. Oh, that's right. I didn't know it. Add my audio to these, and I will. All right, this is one of the tournaments coming up for Ride the 9 Tour. Gloria Jean. Also, Simonis is a sponsor for this one. Starts tomorrow at Snookers up in Providence, Rhode Island. And also, make sure to check out Heroes Hearts, the Heroes Hearts Foundation. Jared Clowry, one of the Boston bomb and victims, that's a personal friend of ours in the pool world. HeroesHearts.org. Back to the action. Caroline Powell did make the 1 and the 2 ball and is now set on the 3. I do have the original flyer. That flyer for the tournament tomorrow up at Snookers is really not the original. I helped Gloria Jean. She's plays, you know, I help her in the background. It's all her idea. And we make up these flyers. And we added Simonis to the flyers. You know, Simonis being the world's largest full cloth distributor. There's also a sponsor for Upstate Island, AZBtv. Keep us on the road. Caroline really starting to open her stroke now. You know, she's starting to feel comfortable. And sometimes it takes that person getting to that hill or really getting up. You know, she knows there's no room for error in it. Oh, just as I said that, she almost made an error. And you see it give the hand gesture. In other words, I got a roll there. She has to stay down. There's no room for error.
Nice shot. It's a lot harder than it looked. She hit that with a lot of
You know, sometimes it takes that spark. Somebody to reach the hill and you say, wait a minute, man, I've been sleeping. I can hit a ball. I can make balls. What am I doing? How did this match ever, how did this ever get out of my hands? Now, look at this. She's faced with a back cut, if she can back cut it into the side pocket.
Yeah, she's going to come around to 8 and 9.
She looks like she's going for the bank. I don't even think she's back cutting this.
I think she's back cutting it.
She did back cut it, yeah. And hit it with inside dope.
A little short, though.
That inside stuff will grab and slow the cue ball down. That's what she wanted to do, but she just didn't hit it hard enough. Now she's got to go out real long and come around for the 9 in the bottom right-hand corner if she can cut this 8 in. I mean, it's a makeable shot. But she's got to come in either real short or real long. Sorry.
She might play safe. Nope.
She went in the drink. Mike is on the hill, and Caroline concedes and says, Mike, that's good enough. Take no prisoners, and good luck from here on in. So, Mike is in the hot seat for the AB bracket. Caroline Powell will have another shot as she climbs her way on the B side. Don't count her out, folks. Definitely don't count her out. We want to thank Jay. Jay, I never got your last name. Please introduce yourself.
Chu. It's Jay Chu.
Jay Chu. It's a hard name to remember.
Yes.
We want to thank Jay for sitting in, and you can come and sit in anytime you want. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back at you with another match. Thanks for hanging in there.